The current podcast is sponsored by New Life Barber Lounge. New Life is not another barbershop. This is a place where you will find great energy and a friend in the New Life crew. This is a place all about the experience. They will take care of you and have you looking spectacular. Don't waste your time at any other place. Go right now and follow them on Instagram at New Life Barbers and get yourself looking spectacular.
Welcome to the current podcast. This is another episode of Sports Wave. Thank you for joining us. And it's a special day. As you may know, it's 4th of July. So I hope everybody's been having a, splendid, safe, holiday out there. And this is Byron. And we got Mauricio in the building. How you doing, bro?
We're doing real good, man. This is it's a little different right here.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Freaking producers podcast only. We're sticking to this side today because the other side didn't want to meet us here. Nah, they're taking the day off. I get that. But yeah, this is gonna be us, man. Here on this Sports Wave Monday that we be doing week to week, and it's number 86, man. It's crazy to think that we're far deep into this. This much, man. 2 years into this podcast and everything, and everybody listening and been joining us for this long. Thank you very much for being on this journey with us.
Appreciate that, guys.
Yep. But what I want to start off with right now on this sports way, real quick, is just the Dodgers, man. They're at the top of the division right now. They're number one.
Still holding it down.
Yeah, so far. But at the same time, they've been dropping games, man. Like little games here and there, which it's gonna happen. No team can be perfect, but when it comes to there was a game that recently they got shut out, and things like that. It's a little bit concerning, you could say. Or was that game against the Rockies last Monday? They got shut out 4-0. Then the day after they lost 7-4.
Oh, okay. So I was just about to say that game, man. If I'm not mistaken, Kershaw played. And
really?
Yeah, and then, bro, it's hard. Not hard, but it's rare, better said, to even see Kershaw. He let like 6 runs in 3 innings, bro. So I was like, what? They basically ripped on him so early in that game.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this is his first game back from injury too.
Yeah, and then my dad actually picked me up yesterday. He told me that he was playing yesterday, but he had a no decision in that game because he was actually winning the game 1-0, but the freaking Padres, bro.
Bro,
in
the
the ninth
Padres.
inning, man, they came back.
Yeah, so yeah, they lost yesterday to the Padres, if I'm not
Like
mistaken.
2-1, I think.
It was 2-4 actually.
Yeah.
And then the day before that, they beat them. So I mean,
They lost the series, right? I believe.
No, they actually won the series because
okay.
they ended up winning. Well, actually, they split the series.
Oh, so it was a 4-game series.
Yeah, the 4-game series. Dodgers
it.
won 2, and the Padres won 2. So those kinds of things they need to kind of look out for because the Padres are only like 2 games or half a game behind. Actually, right now they're 4 games behind. My bad. But they were pretty close the last time I checked. But in the last 10 games, the Dodgers are 6-4. Even though they're on the winning side of things, I just feel like there's little things that they gotta start patching up going into July, and then after that August, which would be the last. I think that is the last.
Yeah, August and September. I believe September's the last.
A little
month.
bit of September,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I think in September they already go into the postseason, if I'm not mistaken. Just kind of review that real quick. Yeah, September. Oh, actually, no, they go all the way into October.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the way into October. So we're like probably the midway through the season right now.
Nonetheless, they're about to hit the All-Star break too, so
Yeah.
you can't,
Get a slump.
Yeah, slump.
So right now the Dodgers are sitting at 49-29. That right now they're playing right now against the Rockies, and the Mets are actually I guess they won earlier today because when I checked earlier in the day, they were a game behind the Dodgers, but now they're basically a game ahead because they won today. So the Mets are 50-30, and let me see if they play today. Yeah, they beat the Cincinnati Reds, so that's what gave them that 50th win. And if we go to the AL, the Yankees are killing it right now with 58 wins and 22 losses. What they do in the last 10 games they've been playing just as the same as the Dodgers, 6-4, and the whack-ass Astros are 52 games on the win column and 27 that they've lost so far, and they're 9-1. And I think recently they played the Yankees and they shut them out.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, MLB is kind of getting to that point, but we're in a dry season of sports, ladies and gentlemen. So baseball is like the most thing that we get like on the daily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But besides that, like just how Byron was talking about, we have 4th of July today.
Yep, correct.
And with this 4th of July, we also have the hot dog eating contest. That's like an annual thing.
I kind of forgot about that, but I did see. I did get reminded. What I'm trying to say when I scrolled through my feed on Instagram today, and I was like, Chestnut, man, Chester, man,
Bro,
Chestnut, man.
Bro, 15 years running, bro. 63 hot dogs today.
My question is, how the heck do you really train for that, bro? Like,
I don't know, bro. 15 glizzies, bro. That's crazy. And that's like, I heard like 2,000 calories or something. And like, you're like supposed to eat 1,000 in a day.
And then didn't they make a scientific study earlier in the year saying that if you eat a hot dog, you lose like
5 days or something of your life, bro. So just ate 63 in a day, bro. He literally just lost like a month or 2 out of his life, bro. Like more than that, if I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, man, that's
wild.
Crazy. But congrats to him, I guess.
Yeah, and in that same competition, I saw this other dude that they drank like a gallon of lemonade in like under a minute.
I think I did see that post too.
You know,
so it was under a minute. You said it was
something like that. But yeah, I mean that's those are just the crazy things that are going on in sports. Something updating with Brittney Griner. She sent a
letter, right? A proposal letter
to Biden directly, basically to help her get freed from out there. So we'll see what Biden does there. If he actually, I ain't gonna say that, but let's see if he actually pulls through and
takes measures into
to his own
case,
hands, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
because I remember something. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that, like Trump. That Leangelo case where Trump actually,
helped those
took initiative.
Out of jail. Yep.
And then I believe he stole something, right, in China or something like that. Or in Europe or something.
Yeah,
which is something. It's a big delinquency out there. So. Hopefully Biden, does something and
holds it down for her and hopefully is able to help her out, because at this point the fact that she has to do literally a handwritten letter from Russia and all this stuff to be delivered to the White House, it's like, yo, like how are you not doing anything? How have you not done anything? How is it that she has to come to this length to ask Joe Biden for help? You know what I mean?
Come on, wake up, sleepy Joe.
Seriously, dog, like. And it's crazy because, like, I think there's some approval ratings that came out recently that people don't want him to run again. So, that's just how the cookie crumbles over here.
He's about to enter. I know. This is politics. Has nothing to do with sports, but he's about to be in his second term, right?
If he gets reelected.
Second year. I mean, second year, not second term. He's about to be his second year, right? I
think so. Well, I think it is his second year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Yep. So. That's kind of what we got for the most part on the waves. Not seeing nothing too crazy else out there. But we will go to the UFC that just took place this weekend, and International Fight Week. And we had Izzy Adesanya headlining the card when he was defending his title versus Jared Cannonier. So we'll start from the prelims on this one, early prelims. And right away we had a really good submission of Jessica Rose Clark. She got caught in an armbar by Julia Stolarenko. And, as soon as she got that armbar, bro, she cranked it really bad and she broke Jessica Rose Clark's arm, actually. And she's going to have surgery on her elbow.
No way. I mean, I missed that fight, but no way. She broke her arm.
Yeah. It was very brutal. And I kind of became, it's a little ironic, but I became a little bit of a fan of Jessica Rose Clark. Just because she walked into the arena with the Shawn Michaels song. So I was like, yo, that's dope. Like, everybody's talking about the Izzy entrance, and like, as cool as it was, I thought hers was way more badass, just because like it just hits a little more. And I'll explain more about that later. But
she paid homage to him, huh?
Yeah, she paid homage to Shawn Michaels, and she was having a good fight, man. She's more of a striker, and she got caught in the grappling of Julia Stolarenko, and again, she broke her arm. And seeing her video she posted, where she was kind of crying, and she was kind of joking too about how like she can't get out of her sports bra and she's gonna probably have to be in that for the next 6 weeks. And I'm just pulling for her. So Jessica Rose Clark, praying for you for a speedy recovery, and you'll get back out there in the bantamweight division and cause trouble as you were before. But we also had Macy Barber fighting Jessica Ai, and that went to a 3-round decision, in which Jessica Ai ended up retiring, threw the gloves in the cage, and that's that for Jessica Ai's career. She got to the top of the division, was able to contend for the title, was not able to beat Valentina Shevchenko, but it was a career nonetheless. And to close out the early prelims, we had Uriah Hall going up against a grappler in Andre Muniz. And man, this was basically a grappling war. Uriah Hall fighting for his life the whole time, and he was able to basically go through to the decision, but it went Muniz's way. So we're just seeing all these different contenders at middleweight that are just gunning for Izzy. And this guy Andre Muniz is one of them because he's just a grappling phenom, I would have to say.
Are most of these fighters like unranked?
I think these guys might have been unranked. I think Uriah Hall might have a number next to him. I have to double check that real quick. But just going on real quick to the
next fight,
to the prelim. Yeah, we had Ian Gary, which is the standout from Ireland, fighting against Gabe Green, and it was a clinic that he put on for 3 rounds, and Ian Gary got out of there with the victory. He's calling to fight in Ireland next, so we'll see if the UFC brings a card in Ireland, and they always have a big show out there, and it's about time they return to Ireland. So maybe next year that'll happen. And then we saw Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone, the rematch between these two guys. Donald Cerrone got the first victory in their first time around, and in this fight, although it was a welterweight fight, and there was nothing you could say at stake for these guys. What was at stake was the most wins in the UFC. Both of them were tied for 23 going into this fight, and they basically fought into the second round. Donald Cerrone threw this head kick that got Jim Miller in the neck area basically, and when he threw that kick, Cerrone slipped, fell, and Jim Miller was able to get him in a guillotine real quick and put Donald Cerrone out. They didn't put him out, tapped him out. Yeah, and then after that, Donald Cerrone retired. He put his gloves off. Took his gloves off. Officially retired. Said he's done. He doesn't like doing it anymore, and he's gonna become a movie star. And hell of a career for Donald Cerrone, dude. I'm not gonna lie, watching that, I did get a little emotional just because it's like I've been seeing Donald Cerrone for the longest, and I just think he's a hell of a fighter. I know the guys will call him a gatekeeper and this and that, and at a certain point it was true, but I mean, just seeing Donald Cerrone fight for the longest, this guy would have put on some fucking fights that were just amazing. Some really good performances, and you can't doubt that when he has 23 wins in the UFC, which is at the moment second all time. He has the most finishes in the UFC. So Donald Cerrone is in the record books and will be in the Hall of Fame. And thank you, Donald Cerrone, another one that has retired in the last couple of weeks. He joins Jessica Ai and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who have recently retired. And yeah, man, happy for Donald Cerrone on that one. But the feature prelim on ABC prelims for the UFC on this card was Brad Riddell fighting Jalen Turner, and it was a pretty quick one in the first round. Basically, Jalen Turner was able to get Brad in a choke as well, and Brad couldn't withstand it. And this is what I heard, that Jalen Turner is a former 170 welterweight that just dropped down to lightweight, and he's being able to show how that weight drop is gonna be beneficial to him because he's able to just have more power than these guys, and he's bigger than them basically for the most part. Because if I'm not mistaken, I gotta see. Yeah, I mean, this guy's 6'3" at lightweight, bro. He's tall, has a long reach, so I think that he has the potential of having some success. And this is his second victory this year at lightweight. He knocked someone out, and then last year in September he submitted someone else. But before that, he had a catchweight fight which he also won. So I think he's another contender that we're gonna see at the 155-pound division.
That's the same division where
Charles fights.
Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier.
Yep. Yep.
All right, cool.
So now we're going to the main card. And by the way, just so you bring up Dustin Poirier got into a little scuffle with Michael Chandler. And this is after they've been jawing at each other on social media and on interviews. So I'm not surprised if they get lined up. And I don't know. I don't know if it'll be at 155. This could be a 170 fight. This is also that Michael Chandler has called out Conor after his last fight, and he said he wanted him at 170. So there's a lot of things at play here, but I do see down the road, maybe later this year, seeing Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier.
That'd be a good one.
A very good one.
Haven't they? I want to say haven't they fought each other?
They have not.
I'm probably thinking Gagey and
Chandler. Yeah, and Gagey has fought. They fought him and Dustin, I believe, fought twice or once. And Dustin won, and at this point they're cool because they're sitting next to each other the whole time.
I did notice that.
So they're cordial for the most part, and I think it's because at the end of the day, I think Dustin Poirier is eyeing a move up to welterweight. But going back to the main card of UFC 276 on International Fight Week, we had Sean Strickland fighting Alex Pereira.
Before that, the
O'Malley one, my bad.
Versus the Brazilian, right?
I was like, there's something missing here. Yeah, so Sean O'Malley opened up the card against the Brazilian Pedro Munoz. And this was a very, how would I say?
I was the decision for me was a little surprising, bro.
I mean, it was a Pedro Munoz was fighting very cautious, trying to stay on the outside of Sean O'Malley, and even then, Sean O'Malley was from the distance that he was at, he was still, for the most part, winning that fight in the first round. And then in the second round, there was a instance where Sean O'Malley is backing up and has his hand out, and his fingers are pointing up. They're not pointing towards Pedro Munoz; they're pointing up. But since Pedro's coming forward, he gets poked in the eye, and this results in a no contest, which now Sean O'Malley has a no contest on his record. And it sucks to see the opening fight of a main card end this way, when it was just in the second round, 2 minutes into the second round. So that one, I think, I don't know if you run it back. I don't know what you do because, Sean O'Malley was looking into breaking into the top 10 right now. And if we go and look at actually that, the top 10 of the UFC when it comes to that bantamweight division, it's just, there's so much going on there with like the last championship fight we had there with what's his name, Sterling and Jan. But right now, for example, Munoz was sitting at number 9. Sean O'Malley was at 13. I don't think their ranks are gonna move at all. They're gonna most likely stay there, and Sean O'Malley is gonna be looking at the next significant fight, at least at bantamweight, which is going to be Dominic Cruz versus Chito Vera, which Manny and I are going to be going to watch in San Diego. Depending on who wins on that fight, because it's basically like a month away, I think Sean O'Malley has the opportunity to fight basically one of those guys right there, Marlon Vera or Dominic Cruz, because I just see how he's trying to pop into the top 10, and he lost to Chito Vera. Dominic Cruz is number 8, ranked above Pedro Munoz, so I see that as a great fight for him to fight, winner or the loser of that fight, honestly, because those two guys will most likely still be within the top 10. Besides that, it's crazy. Not crazy, but I don't know who else he could fight. There's so many other people he could fight. Frankie Edgar is a former champion. He could fight Ricky Simone, which is another up and coming contender.
Mm-hmm.
Umar Nurmagomedov, which is Khabib's cousin. He just got a rank next to his name at 15. So that's a fight that I for sure think Sean O'Malley wouldn't want. I think he'd want either Frankie Edgar or Dominic Cruz or Chito Vera. He also said Rob Font. So any of those guys is someone that I think he will fight. I don't think Pedro Munoz will be the fight for him next. I think Pedro will probably fight one of these guys ranked beneath him. But yeah, that's kind of where I see that going. But again, very unfortunate for that ending. But after that, we had a pretty good fight, barn burner between Robbie Lawler and Bryan Barberena.
Oh yeah, that was
Robbie Lawler really showed that he still has it at 40 years old. was putting the brakes on Bryan Barberena until Bryan was just throwing punches for the most part, just throwing volume.
Yo, man, that guy has a chin too, bro.
Yeah, and then Robbie was just throwing power shots at that fool's chin like crazy, and in that second round he almost had him, but then Bryan kind of just took a step back, and when he stepped forward, he hit him with a nasty elbow. Step in elbow basically to Robbie Lawler's face.
He was doing that often, huh?
Yeah,
I was helping him out.
And those elbows is basically what dazed Robbie Lawler, and then eventually got Byron Barberena the TKO over Robbie Lawler. And if we go back to the rankings, I want to see where this guy Barberena is at when we're talking about welterweight. Currently sitting unranked. So this kind of fight where he just fought someone that is also unranked but is a former champion could get him a ranking next to his name, seeing how all these guys from 15 to 12 have lost and have dropped the ranking. It could mean that for Bryan Barberena. But oh man, I think he could fight anybody there, bro. Jeff Neal Magny, Lin Jialing, like any of these guys, even Michael Chesney, anybody that's underneath the top 10 of the welterweight, he could easily fight them next, and that'll be their that'll be basically the next fight I could see for Barberena. But then we had the much anticipated unranked Alex Pereira fighting the number 4 ranked Sean Strickland at middleweight. And the reason that this has so much hype next to it is because Sean Strickland before this, I think, was like on a 7-fight win streak. And Alex Pereira is the individual who knocked out Izzy in kickboxing.
How long ago was that, by the way?
It was pre-2017, pre-2018, like around this. So before that time, before Izzy came into the UFC.
Okay.
So he has that on his resume. He's a kickboxing phenom himself. He's 6-1 right now in MMA. And he knocked out Sean Strickland. And honestly, I don't know what Sean Strickland was doing. His plan, I'm pretty sure his coaches had a different plan for him as far as how to approach the fight. But he was more concerned on, like, basically proving that he could stand up Alex Pereira. And that happened to be his downfall. And he got knocked out with a hook. And and
now right in the kisser.
Yeah, and it just sets it up perfectly for Alex Pereira to be the next contender for Israel Adesanya. And it's gonna be very interesting to see when that fight happens and just how Izzy fights, because we'll get to that right now, but that fight was not the most entertaining one. But the co-main event was pretty entertaining. But for a Max Holloway fan that I am, it was kind of not disappointing. It was a little sad. It was also realizing that Alex is just better. He has that
Volkanovski, right?
Yeah, Alexander, and he may not be finishing his opponents, but he's certainly smashing them. He's changing their faces and doing a lot of things. We can see that in this fight against Max Holloway. We gave him that nasty gash on right above his eye.
Oh, bro, that was deep. Pause.
And besides that, we saw what he did to Brian Ortega. We saw what he did to the Korean Zombie. So these type of performances by Alexander, he just showed that he's the dominant pound for pound featherweight at the moment. That's not to take away that Max wasn't. He was a great champion. That's not to take that Jose Aldo wasn't. He was a great champion. And obviously we have Conor in there, but we're talking about champions that defended their title. Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and Jose Aldo are definitely the ones that we will call as the top featherweights when it's all said and done. So the next thing for Alexander, he says he wants to go up.
Yup.
Henry Cejudo went up to him cordially and asked him to fight him next. Josh Emmett, who just won and beat Calvin Kattar, is also calling for that fight. Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega is scheduled to take place later this month. So there's a lot of fights that could happen at featherweight. And as for the lightweight strap, it's currently vacated. Charles has called out a couple of people. He said he wants Conor, and he also wants to fight Islam Makhachev, which is Khabib's cousin. So he said that he's willing to do that one in Brazil. So those fights right there, I think, are more prominent at lightweight rather than Alexander going up and becoming a champ right now, because there's currently a vacated title. I would like if Alex is gonna go up and fight somebody at lightweight, I would like to see him fight an actual title holder, not a vacated title. Even though Charles won and beat Justin Gaethje, like I still want to see him fight either Makhachev or Connor, and then after that, Alex can get his shot. So I think Alex needs one more fight at featherweight, either Josh Emmett. Or I don't think Henry Cejudo deserves it. So Josh Emmett, I would say at this point. Unless Yoel Rodriguez does some crazy shit and beats Ortega, or Ortega does some crazy shit. Those I think are the next fight for Volkanovski.
Because I do remember him saying when he said that he wants to go up, he was like, he said he wants to be kept busy, bro.
Yeah, he wants to be kept busy, and that he'll keep both divisions busy. So, we'll see, and that's given if he even wins at 155. I don't think he beats certain people at 155. I don't think he beats Charles. I don't think he beats Justin Gaethje. I don't think he beats Dustin Poirier. Those type of fighters, I don't think he beats them. I think, for example, Dustin's power will knock Alexander, and things like that. I think will prove dividend as far as that weight class goes. But I could be wrong, because Alexander Volkanovski is a former rugby player that weighed 240 pounds. So I could be fucking greatly mistaken, y'all.
Like a wise man once said.
Or like a wise podcast was said. Who's to say?
Who is to say?
So now our middleweight championship fight at UFC 276, Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. That fight was hyped up to be something else. I'm not going to say that it was like a totally horrible fight. It was just that Israel, I think at some point realized... It was
like conservative in a sense?
Yeah, very conservative. He realized that Jared not only has the power, but he's fighting with technique and with adjustments, and he took him seriously. So honestly, as a champion, I recognize that, and I see that you got to do the right thing to in a sense retain your strap. You're, as much as you're doing it to entertain the crowd, you're also fighting for your own legacy and all those things. So my determination is that Izzy is the new Floyd Mayweather, and he's just fighting in a defensive and he's a defensive way so that he can regain his championship. And I don't knock him for it. You know what I mean? He is fighting fucking killers in there when it comes to people like Jared Cannonier. He just fought Robert Whittaker last, and it was a decision. He did definitely dismounted him and put it on him, but didn't finish him. And then when you're watching the UFC and you watch something like UFC Austin a couple weeks ago, and you just see finish after finish after finish, like you want to see that, especially from a champion. But at the same time, it's like you got to take your opponent with take it seriously, And I think that's what he did with Jared Cannonier.
Because I even felt like that Cannonier was like even scared of Izzy at certain point, at least mainly in the first like couple rounds, because he couldn't really figure him out as well, at least from what I saw. And then man, Izzy, dude, he's just good with that jab, bro. Yeah,
his jab was popping really, really hot, and I think that it's just something that I think I was hearing this today, and I think that after that Jan fight, the taste of him losing, I don't think he really liked that. And I think that he's going to ensure as much as he can to not lose. But up against Pereira, it's going to be an interesting fight because he's lost to him twice. He lost to him the first time by decision, and the second time, I believe, is when he got knocked out by him in kickboxing. And as much as he wants to say this is MMA and whatnot, like Israel Adesanya, I don't see him shooting and going for a takedown against Pereira to try to submit him. Like he's going to stand up and do what he does best against Pereira, And I think that Pereira at some point is gonna have that confidence and go forward. And when it comes to Adesanya, he's willing to go into that dark place. But you have to take him there. He's not gonna go on there on his own. If you've seen Adesanya's fights, most of them is him with this fucking mastery of striking and just putting on a clinic and not getting touched and all that stuff. But the fight, if you go watch his fight against Kevin Gastelum. His fight against Kevin Gastelum, Israel's face got bruised and bloodied because Kevin brought it to him. Kevin went forward, put his chin down.
Was he a champ by this time? Or not yet?
I believe at that time, I want to say he won the interim title.
Okay.
I want to say that was an interim title fight because it was 5 rounds.
And before the first Whittaker fight, right?
Before the first Whittaker fight, yeah. So when that takes place, like, they brawled in that fight, but it was because Gaslam
He
really
brought
went
us home.
forward and showed his durability and just gave it to Israel. And at the end in that fifth round, I want to say it was in the fifth round that Israel he was able to TKO him in the fifth round. So like seeing Israel go through something like that, he's only gonna go there if he's taken there. And I think that against someone like Pereira, I think he'll take him there. I thought Jared would have been able to take him there, but I think also Jared fought with a conservative style.
Yeah.
And that paid dividend to what the way that the way that the fight went. Like
I feel like the nerves kicked in a little.
Mm-hmm. And I think what it is that if you choose to fight at Izzy's pace, Izzy's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to,
How you say, like kind of like Mayweather, huh?
yeah, if you choose to fight at that pace that they set, they're gonna coast and they're gonna win. But if you turn it up and you take a risk, you might get hit and whatnot. But if you fucking hit them, bro, like you have a chance to making
It's like a coin toss, huh?
making it a scrappier fight, And I think that Pereira might try that, but I think it's also gonna be a chess match when it comes to those two guys. But Pereira has he has this tattoo on his arm where it's like on his hand where it's like stone. And the whole thing is that he has hands of stone, you know what I mean? That he'll knock someone out. So, he knocked out Israel with pillow gloves. And now this is 4-ounce gloves. So it's going to be interesting when this get lined up. And we'll have to see if it happens in Vegas, where it happens.
When it happens.
Yeah. And, a lot of people will see this Israel card. And it's interesting because he was able to hype up this fight. I wonder how much pay-per-views it sold. But I think the next one's going to sell even more because people know that Israel got knocked out by this guy. And that's going to be in the promo. And that's going to, it's going to be all over the place. So that was UFC 276 for y'all. Coming up next week, we have a UFC fight night in the UFC Apex headlined by Rafael Dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev. This is supposed to take place at a UFC pay-per-view either in March or April. We were watching it at Enzo's shop, and I remember that's when Rafael RDA fought against Renato Moicano and also fucking smashed him up. I don't know if you remember that fight. It was two Brazilians fighting, and then this RDA was like fucking the dude up. Look,
what fight card was it? Like? Do you remember the main event?
Let's look it up. It was UFC 272. That was Covington versus Masvidal. And it was the co-main event.
Oh, we were at the shop, huh?
We were at the shop, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I remember we saw that fight. That was the same night that Jalen Turner got that dub. So, yeah, that's what we're going to have next week. And then the rest of the month when it comes to the UFC is going to be dope because we have Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez.
And that's at the end of is that at the end of the month or is
This is July 16th, so it's like a couple weeks from now.
The one at the end of the month is the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, but before we get there, we also have UFC Fight Night in London again, which
Sick.
is we're going to have a star-studded card headlined by Curtis Blades and Tom Aspinall. Co-main event, Jack Hermanson, Darren Till, which there's a little controversy there because Khamzat Chimaev has been training with Jack Hermanson, and before that he was with Darren Till. So see what happens there. And Paddy Pimblin's going to be fighting as well. Alexander Gustafsson, Molly McCann. Some really good fights for that one. And then, like Byron said, ending the month, we'll have Juliana Pena defending her strap versus Amanda Nunes in the rematch. Brandon Moreno fighting for the interim title versus Kai Kara France. I don't know exactly where this is gonna be at. I would have to look this one up. But UFC 277 coming up at the end of the year. But that's what we have for y'all. We also have free agency that kind of just hit with the NBA, and that one,
It's getting wild, man.
yeah. So about that. The Lakers haven't done shit. They just signed Damon Jones to a 2-year contract. They also got a couple of other players. This guy from the Warriors.
That he's like half Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Forgot his name.
Mexican. So
Tucson.
they also signed Juan Toscano Anderson. They signed Troy Brown Jr. and Damon Jones. So what I would say about this is that the Lakers, at least they have younger pieces on their roster right now. So that's a positive, you could say. In addition, we did talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. and Cole Swider. Bro, Cole Swider is a sharpshooter at 6'9", bro. He is LeBron's height. Shooting, like the other game, he played 18 minutes, was shooting 71% from the 3-point line.
The Summer League, right?
Yep. So I'm excited for that. When I hear someone of that size and is able to shoot the ball really good, that's very exciting for me because it opens up the game, the floor for everybody else. So we're, as Laker fans right now, we're waiting to see what Kyrie Irving, where he gets traded as the result of Kevin Durant requesting a trade. That team in Brooklyn is basically becoming dismantled after Durant did many things like request them to get DeAndre Jordan and pay him a ridiculous contract, do all these things, and then just so at the end he can leave Brooklyn high and dry, basically. But if they trade him, I mean, let's say they trade him to the Warriors, because that's being tossed around. The Warriors have the best package to offer. They have Jordan Poole, they have Wiseman, they have Wiggins, and I'm pretty sure they have future picks if they want that as well. I know another team that they said that he wants to go to is the Miami Heat or the Suns. The Suns, they're not going to give up Devin Booker.
Most likely they'll give Ayton, though.
Ayton, yeah, and role players that go along with that. When it comes to Miami, I thought that made the most sense, but shout out to CJ. He said there's something in Adebayo's contract where he can't get traded yet because they just gave him an extension too recently. So that's the one thing where I thought Miami would be a lot because they can trade away Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and a couple other pieces, and their core would basically be Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and KD.
Damn.
That would be a crazy team. So I think that if he ends up going back to the Warriors, that's some total bullshit. If he goes to the Suns, again, they're not gonna give up those important pieces like Devin Booker. So
what if he goes to the Clippers, bro?
That'd be some crazy shit. That'd be some crazy wild shit. Also another team he can go to is the Blazers, bro.
Oh yeah, huh? Damian Lillard's been hinting stuff like that, huh?
So that's a possibility there. So all these things going on there, but like I said, as Laker fans, we're waiting to see what happens with Kyrie Irving. What do you think about that, though, Byron?
About what, Kyrie? The trade? I mean, personally, guys, most people might not agree with me, but I would love to personally give Brody another chance, just because he's in LA, native. I've been not fully following him, but ever since I heard his name coming up and that he was from UCLA, he was born here, seeing the skill that he would bring when he was younger, I thought he had potential. I still feel like he can have potential, maybe with his new coach. But man, to answer your question, man, I'll shoot the gun, bro. I'll take the shot, bro. I'll take Kyrie any day, man. Kyrie's Kyrie, man. Even though he's had some injury problems here and there, but it'll be a fresh start. He's played with LeBron, bro. I've messed with Kyrie, his handling, bro. He's an all-star NBA champion.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about it?
I think that we need someone that can create their own shot. Someone that can really play alongside LeBron and make it work. So I think Kyrie, if we can make it happen, I think pull the trigger all the way. Obviously, Westbrook, AD, and LeBron only played 11 games together. But at the same time, I just think that if you can get someone that can get their shot down, you at least solve that problem of
question
Westbrook. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Question though, bro. Do you think Kyrie and AD would mingle though?
Would hell yeah, bro. That's that.
Do you see
Kyrie can literally potential if AD comes in shape and plays defense, Kyrie can make him an MVP candidate, bro. Because he's that type of point guard that he'll get those picks from him. He'll feed him. Kyrie will get his, and I think that'll be an amazing duo. The thing about Westbrook is I just feel like he's so sporadic at the moment that you don't know what he's gonna do. With Kyrie, it's like that he's looking to score the ball, for the most part. If he needs to get his teammates involved, he is obviously, but he's a scorer. You know what I mean? So that's gonna happen.
Most definitely.
So that's just kind of something I want from him. But just kind of looking at some trades that have gone down. Malcolm Brogdon got traded to the Celtics, and that gives him a stable, reliable point guard there. And I think that's gonna be look good for the Celtics. As much as I don't like the Celtics, the Hawks also got DeJounte Murray. And then
good pickup.
They also they got a couple of other things too, but so far they have DeJounte Murray in there, so they're gonna look good in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. So and then what's it called?
Rudy Gobert got traded too, right?
Yeah. Rudy Gobert got traded to
Minnesota, bro. Damn, with Cat, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a twin tower right there.
I gotta see how that's gonna be though, bro. Because honestly, like this dude, Cat, can be a wild card, and then they don't end up getting along or some bullshit. Cat's a diva, bro. I will say that about him. But it'll be remain to be seen. I like Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
That dude's a really dope player. A lot of people like what's his name? John Moran a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away anything from that, but I like Anthony Edwards a lot more, in my opinion. So just seeing also some signings that have happened around the league. Patty Mills signed a 2-year deal with the Nets. Zach LaVine got a 5-year deal with the Bulls. Goran Dragic just signed a 1-year deal with them. Andre Drummond will be on that squad as well. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, Darius Garland signs a 5-year deal. Ricky Rubio returns on a 3-year deal, which I think is great because before Ricky Rubio got injured, man, he was bringing the Cavs up a lot, like crazy with it. I remember I went to go see that game when the Cavs were actually here in LA, and Ricky Rubio was putting up buckets, just to say the least. JaVale McGee to the Mavericks, I think that's a great pickup. That's a good locker room guy and a hustle guy that, you know, is going to be getting those rebounds and stuff and setting picks for
Luka
Jokic. Nuggets, Jokic becomes one of the highest paid NBA players with a 5-year extension. DeAndre Jordan's with the Nuggets now. Kevin Knox is with the Pistons after leaving New York. DiVincenzo's with the Golden State Warriors. Kevon Looney also re-signs on a 3-year deal.
Didn't Gary Payton II sign somewhere else?
He's, I want to say, with Sacramento.
Right?
Yeah.
I heard that. I read briefly read a post today saying that most of the Warriors organization were not, I don't want to say devastated, but saddened that they let him go.
Ooh. Gary
Payton II.
Yeah. I can see that, but I mean, he's gonna get his bag now, and he got his ring and all that, so it's time to get your bag. Clippers re-signed Nicholas Batum, which I heard he was interested in the Lakers too, but they re-signed there.
Bro, we lost Malik Monk, bro.
Oh, I know. We can get there. Zubac also gets another extension with the Clippers. John Wall, off of waivers, signs with the Clippers. And the Lakers, I already explained who they got. They also got Lonnie Walker on a 1-year deal. The Memphis Grizzlies, they got, what's his name?
Tyus Jones?
Yeah, but they also got someone via trade. Danny Green via trade, so they have a sharpshooter there. Wes Matthews is back with the Bucks. See where that Zion Williamson 5-year deal, bro. After only playing 80 games in 3 years, bro.
How the
basically a $200 million contract, basically. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Orlando.
In the sense that what you just said, bro, he hasn't even played a full season. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then Devin Booker got his 4-year extension as well. Gary Payton II going to the Trailblazers. That's where he went, bro. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna be backing up
Dame Dollar.
Yes, sir. And like you said, Malik Monk on a 2-year deal to the Kings. And I feel like the Lakers could have given him that deal, bro. Some bullshit. Oh, hell side.
You think a reason why he maybe left, aside the fact of the bag, was maybe bro, he saw no potential with the Lakers?
He was willing to take less to stay with the Lakers. And I just think they might have not offered him a contract, bro. And then the Sacramento Kings offered him a contract and a 2-year deal at that. Mm-hmm. So you're going to take it, you know? And I think that just plays into, I think the Lakers are thinking, man, we're going to get Kyrie. We got to keep the books open, things like that.
What do you think happens with Carmelo? Do the Lakers re-sign Carmelo?
That's a good question.
Even if it's an event minimum again?
So I think they should. I would say they should.
I would one more year. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I hear Carmelo Anthony. I think he is a free agent as right
Especially seeing how the moves we're making this far. Like,
now. Yeah, I would bring Carmelo back.
But on the bright side, if most Laker fans don't know, we finally got Lil Dang off the payroll, bro.
Finally, bro, for real, dog. That's freaking.
Damn, man. Fuck.
That's crazy that we even have to say that. But yeah, I mean, there's still some free agents out there. Bradley Beal signed his deal, obviously. Was it Marvin Bagley, the dude that just got into his whole shit?
Nah, it was that for Bridges. Didn't Bridges get into a case?
Yeah.
Miles, no, not Miles.
Yeah,
Bridges.
I think it is Miles Bridges.
The dude from the Hornets.
Yeah, Miles
He
Bridges.
beat up his girl or something like
And
that.
then he was the same dude with the lean. Saying that it was pink lemonade. So yeah, Miles Bridges is some shit.
And I think he was looking for he was
about
trying to
it.
chase the bag, right?
If I'm not mistaken, he was about to get an extension.
Damn.
Yeah, he's
Sad.
arrested here in LA as well. Fuck, that's crazy. Yeah, man. That's crazy how you can really just lose your career off of like some domestic violence shit. Like, at the same time, kind of rightfully so. Especially if you're fucking beating someone up, bro. But that's besides the point, man. Fucking Miles Bridges, though. But for the most part, last month without football, so we'll be having that soon again. We can talk about football, you know what I'm saying? But it was a quickie, easy sports way. We want to keep you guys informed. Shout out to the guys that couldn't be here today. They'll be here next week. Thank you, Byron, for making this happen.
No, thank you, Mauricio.
Because if not, it was going to be a solo, sad, depressing podcast. But we made this shit happen. This is Sports Wave number 86. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. You like this video, share it with your peoples. Do the thing, man. If you're listening to it on podcast
Save it
form,
too.
Yeah, if you're listening to it on podcast form, you know what to do. Write us a review, rate us, and subscribe as well.
Check out the previous episodes as well, man.
Yes, sir.
Hope you guys have a safe day and a safe 4th of July. And
Thank you so much, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
Thank you for listening to our episode. We appreciate your support. Remember to follow us on Instagram at The Current Pod, where you can share our episodes, review, interact with us, talk to us about what's going on. We appreciate your feedback and everything that you guys do for us and supporting us. Have a wonderful day.